Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's Tuesday, January 18th. Still not over the Lions win of a playoff game, but guess what? They have an opportunity to go to the NFC Championship game. Now we know their opponent. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker was baking last night, huh? Oh, it almost seems like someone said he'd bake last night. Who was that? Was that you?
No, I think that was you, Jeff.
Didn't you take the Bucs too?
Oh, yeah, I took the Bucs as well.
All right, JB.
Me and KG.
Those Eagles, man. I smelled something. Sam Flannel.
If the Eagles took the field against the Carolina Panthers right now, I'd take the Panthers. That's how bad the Philadelphia Eagles have fallen from grace. Just a collapse amongst epic proportions. But you know what? And I know that this is something that hasn't been talked about, but I'm going to bring it up. The Eagles' collapse greatly affects the Lions because at some point the Eagles were 10-1. It looked like there were going to be two teams. Well, there were eventually two teams, but two outdoor teams that were seated ahead of the Detroit Lions, and the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles collapsed and the Buccaneers were able to beat them, and of course the Cowboys helped out by losing as well. The Lions get a home playoff game against the Buccaneers. Who would have thought that after the Lions went into Tampa Bay and crushed them? And it was week 5, I believe. And even before the season, when everybody thought the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be the bottom feeders of the NFC South, it's going to be fun. But yeah, the Eagles just awful. They're the worst team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, it has to be one of the, if not the worst collapse I've ever seen. Like, easily. Like 10-1, coming off a Super Bowl appearance, to now the stretch they had to end the season, and now losing 32-9 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who the final game of the year beat the Panthers 9-0.
Didn't that slide kind of commence with Matt Patricia getting that bump to
it certainly has something to do with it. Yeah. It's weird how the timing works, right? Matt Patricia starts taking over the defense, and then on top of that, you have A.J. Brown hurt. Jalen Hurts is clearly hurt. Yep. No pun intended. And then DeAndre Swift just MIA in a big game. I mean, it's like, okay, well, it's Tuesday. Nothing surprising there. So a lot of things are going wrong for the Eagles.
Let's easy on DeAndre Swift now.
I'm just saying. Like, they needed Swift. He gave him a 10 for 34. Cool. Sweet.
He never played in a big game in his life, at least with the Detroit Lions. All I'm saying is that all of us taking victory laps over DeAndre Swift. He had a 1,000-yard season. Come on. Come on.
It was cool.
Every single player, once they leave Detroit, just falls flat on their face, except not all of them do. That's all I'm saying. That's just be objective. People don't like when I'm objective, but that's okay.
But Baker Mayfield, though, we got Matt Broder joining us as well. Detroit Kool-Aid, of course. Brandon Den in the audio booth. We have JB in the TD booth hanging out with us. Baker was baking, and I know you guys were talking about it on Woodward Nights. I don't know if did you pick the Bucs?
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. Baker, he was over 300 passing yards, 3 TDs to no picks. He was cooking.
If he does that though, this is a good matchup. A pocket quarterback like Baker, it's a good matchup for the way the Lions defense is playing, is structured right now. Go get some takeaways, and to see him send 8 Pro Bowlers home to get some rest before the Pro Bowler games, all 5 offensive linemen, wide receiver, fullback, and DeAndre Swift, the running back, those Eagles Pro Bowlers. Yep, they probably should have gone with some of the Lions players.
Yeah. That's why at the end of the day, it's majority of popularity contest. But it's crazy how Amon-Ra St. Brown, you don't make a Pro Bowl, but you make first team All Pro. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think this match, and we'll get into the matchup more at 8:30. We're going to talk to Matt Broder in a couple of minutes here, ask his thoughts on the game that just transpired on Sunday, and then we're going to take phone calls later in the first hour. So please, if you guys want to call up, we're going to be taking them. I want to hear from the people, your thoughts on Sunday and the Tampa Bay Bucs this Sunday. Which is, it seems to me, a strength on strength. It's offense, the Lions' offense, on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' defense. That's what this is going to come down to. I'm excited for it.
That's definitely. I know we're going to be talking about takeaways this whole week, but that is certainly. I mean, even though the Eagles are terrible, in which we would all agree now they were probably fraudulent all along, especially at the end of the year when the wheels really fell off. And of course, losing A.J. Brown doesn't help. When you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you give up 9 points in the playoffs, that's a hell of an accomplishment. And of course, the defense had some impressive performances throughout the season. So we will see. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. All I know is that I am going to have the same energy during this game that I did for the national championship. I cannot. Please don't lose to Baker Mayfield. Please don't lose to Baker Mayfield. I don't think the Lions will, but I hate that guy so much. Like my hatred for Baker Mayfield is just, it's on biblical proportion. He has that quality that is completely made up. He's got that moxie, which is actually little man syndrome. But to be fair, Baker Mayfield has had a good year, and he did have a good game last night, although Eagles DB's missing tackles had a lot to do with it. But still, credit where credit is due.
And this NFL playoffs, that's why the NFL's the best.
Yes.
Like, how many upsets? I mean, yeah, I tried, being that guy and picking some upsets, and hey, it worked out. Now, we were both wrong about the Cowboys. We didn't foresee that. I thought they'd lose the next game. I didn't think they'd lose. Hey, they got me there. They lost the Packers. But still, I mean, you have Houston taking down Cleveland. You look around and you say this, and I'm going to keep saying it. With new information, I'm allowed to change my opinion. We talk about a playoff win. That was the goal, and it was, and they accomplished that. Now they got the Bucs. They're going to be favored at home. Now we're talking make an NFC Championship game.
Nobody thought in a million years, even when this playoff started, that their second playoff game, their divisional round matchup to get to the NFC Championship would be a game in which the Lions are as big of favorites as they are. I think coming into the playoffs, we were all like, a playoff win, and as long as the Lions get that, especially since it's their first year really contending, that would be a successful season. I'm not saying that if they lose to the Bucs, everything just gets thrown away, but at the same time, with new information, and that's why when it comes to the playoffs, sometimes you just have to let it play out. As you said, nobody thought that the Cowboys would lose to the Packers, get absolutely demolished by the Packers. Nobody thought when the Eagles were 10-1 that they would tailspin as much as they would, to the point where they were a wild card team and lost to the Buccaneers. So now, I mean, most division round matchups really aren't like this, where one team is favored by so much. What is it, a 6-point spread at this point, which in the playoffs is 100, which is massive. So gotta go get this one done. But I'm still kind of in that phase where I'm enjoying the one from Sunday against the Rams.
Oh, and you absolutely have the right to do that.
Yeah.
Everyone's still soaking. I'm still recovering from yesterday's show.
Oh my God.
We're doing all right.
Yeah, from the Black and Miles.
We're ready to go. I'm fired up. I'm going to tell you about our friends at Hamlin Pub, and we'll talk to our good friend Matt Broder. But first, have you ever wanted to be at a bar where you're known as a regular? Well, if you need a place to go this weekend, you're not going to the game, you don't want to pay $1,000, well, I have the place for you. It's Hamlin Pub. They got 7 locations, and whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on Thursdays or game day specials available all during Michigan and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Lions fans, it's the moment we've been waiting for. Your Lions have won a playoff game. What does that mean? Another tailgate party. Let's go. Join us for the Ultimate Lions VIP tailgate this Sunday, hosted by Bullseye Event Group and sponsored by Long Drink. Food, music, excitement, another chance to witness history. Let's roar together down at Eastern Market. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com to get your tickets today.
We're off and rolling. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Still recovering from a victory Monday, victory Tuesday. I mean, hell, this is a lifetime victory for a lot of Lions fans. But there's still more work to do. Job is not finished. And we're joined by our Detroit Lions beat reporter, Matt Broder, who also does a lot of things at this network. He's got a lot of hands in different things, right? He's got Woodward and Maine, like this morning.
Oh, yeah.
You got Woodward Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
With Booner. Booner's in the chat.
And Booner's in the chat.
Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
8 p.m. to 10 p.m. weekdays.
Yeah, let's
how
go.
you feeling, Broder? I know you guys, yesterday you kind of recapped it, but just how significant that win was. And I got to say, too, Stafford, getting booed, rightfully so. Jared Goff, the vengeance game, he was zipping it, Broder.
Yes, he was.
And you're a big Goff guy.
I am. And both quarterbacks showed up. That first half, it looked as though no team could stop the other one. I thought it was going to be, in the 50s. Both quarterbacks were slinging it. Matthew Stafford, there were some vintage moments. That little sidearm pass to Davis Allen, the no-look sidearm pass. When stuff like that happens, you start to, I don't know about everybody else, but you start to get a little worried there. Maybe not worried, but a little, okay, we don't want this game to come down to the wire with the ball in Stafford's hands. But Aaron Glenn and that defense, they really showed up in the second half, limiting the Rams to field goals and not letting them put too many points on the board. And they gave the ball back to Jared Goff in that offense with about 4 minutes to go, and they never gave it back.
And I want to ask you one thing about just the difference of the ballgame. To me, it was the red zone. You have the Lions who were 3-0, Rams 0-3. It was that simple. And the defense, say what you want about the defense. They give up a ton of yards to number one wide receivers, Broder, but the bend don't break approach, it's working, and it's been working. But do you think there's a thought in your mind where it might catch up to them? Or you think this is sustainable, where they can still bend, not break? To me, they just got to force turnovers.
Yeah,
they didn't get one yet last game, but this game against the Bucs, I need one.
Yeah, I mean, each week I've probably said, man, I don't know if this is sustainable. And the next week they hold the team to, this wasn't under 20 points, but they only gave up 23 points. And with that offense, that is usually enough. It was great to see Jared Goff his name was chanted before the game. It was almost more support for Jared Goff than it was booing for Matthew Stafford. But man, that Ford Field crowd, it was loud. I don't know if it didn't hit the record, whatever the record is, but it was consistently loud, like from start to finish at 118, 120 decibels all game long. They forced a huge timeout call in the early in the fourth quarter. It was a lot of fun for a lot of people down in Detroit. What an awesome Sunday night for the city.
Oh, yes, and you kind of stole my thunder with the red zone talk, but that is okay because, that is okay. That is such a big factor in the game. I believe the difference in the game. But one of the other differences in the game, and to the shock of absolutely no one, I'm going to bring up my man Aiden Hutchinson. And I'm not saying that he should have been Defensive Player of the Year, All-Pro, or anything like that, but I made a statement on yesterday's show, Broder, with the way that he finished the season, especially in the playoff game, with the way, quite frankly, he played all year, leading the NFL in pressures, hurries, tied for first in quarterback knockdowns, third in quarterback hits, that there is no defensive player I would want on my team moving forward than Aiden Hutchinson. Am I crazy, or is there some validity to that?
Not at all. There's definitely some validity to that. I think Aiden Hutchinson's in that elite tier. We talked about it a little bit last night. I think he's elite. I just think he's one step below that superstar elite, the Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, TJ Watt. But he's coming. We know part of the reason the Lions went after Aiden Hutchinson to fit this Dan Campbell mold is because his motor, his effort. You know he's consistently going to try to get better throughout his entire career. And Sam, you're right. We talk about this game against the Rams a lot because he had those 2 sacks. But when you really look at it, that one on Stafford where he tripped over Kyren Williams' foot and Aiden Hutchinson literally had to just touch him to get his sacks, that should paint the picture to a lot of people that it's not just about the number of sacks he gets. And that's been the topic all year.
Right.
He's made that type of impact on almost every game he's been in. It's great to see him get the sacks, and you got to finish. But, man, he made such an impact on that game regardless of those 2 sacks, letting the other guys go. It was a great performance. He's a huge part of that second half defense and how they stopped the Rams offense.
Yeah, and one thing, too, when you bring up just how big of a game that was, the Rams, to me, it was a big hump for the Lions to get over. Do you worry, and maybe not with Dan Campbell as a coach, but a little bit of a hangover, that like that game was so big, now you got the Bucs coming up, it's like, okay, it's like, it doesn't have as much...
Yeah,
it doesn't have as much juice with it.
I don't. Like this team, each game, there's something big on the line. They've proven that they're ready. Right. If there's ever a time to flop, it would have been this last game. So I don't think they have a hangover from that. I think they probably celebrated Sunday night like with everyone else in Detroit. But as soon as they got back to Allen Park, like Dan Campbell said in his press conference, it's all focusing on the next round. They've scouted the Bucs before from playing them in Week 6, so they were paying a little closer attention to the Eagles. But hey, we got the matchup now. I have no concern that they're going to show up ready to go on Sunday at 3.
And it's crazy because, Booner and I have had tons of conversations about a potential Lions playoff win. And I got to give Booner credit here because I did not foresee these matchups happening. Like, this is favorable, in my opinion, for the Lions. I think they match up with a lot of teams that are left. And I would say the team that gives the 49ers the most problems is obviously the Detroit Lions. But what's your confidence level now with what they've done? They have the Bucs, and I don't want to look ahead, but just to give the 49ers a run for their money. I think the Lions I know defensively they got a lot of things to figure out, but at least I think they can compete. Yeah. I do.
It's going to come down to that defense. I think the offense can play with anybody in the league, and I think the 49ers is no different. The key is, can you stop that 49ers offense with Trent Williams healthy, with Debo and Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey? If they're all healthy, I'm not worried about Brock Purdy having a good game. So what are you going to do to disrupt that? Again, we're not trying to look forward, but I think they can hang with them. What gives me more confidence is that now the Lions, I got some confidence in that special teams. Michael Badgley hit a 54-yarder that was the difference in the game. Jack Fox had another one of his spectacular Jack Fox all-pro type games, and he should be all-pro every year. We just don't use him enough. But that hit, the way he was able to turn the field around, it was as important as anything. So that's just one more piece of the Detroit Lions team that I'm a little more confident as you go into the playoff run. Your special teams got to show up, and they did on Sunday.
Oh, Michael Badgley, Jack Fox pinning the Rams twice. Where if Jack Fox doesn't pin him in that last drive, the Rams actually are able to kick a go-ahead field goal. I mean, it's hard to say if or whatever, but still, pinning him is absolutely huge. But I want to talk about the previous Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, which was in Week 6, by the way. Thank you for the correction. The Lions obviously went into Tampa Bay and won 20-6. It was Jared Goff played brilliantly. The running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs didn't play. David Montgomery went down early in the game. The defense only allowed 6 points. Is there anything that the Lions can take away from that early game, even though it was early in the season, and use as maybe some scouting or things to game plan for in this playoff game? Or is it just kind of a clean slate? Both teams are different. The Buccaneers are improved, etc.
Honestly, I think they're probably going to approach it with a clean slate, but they can use the fact that they were missing all those guys. You talked about it was a Jared Goff game. He went 30 for 44, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Craig Reynolds was your leading rusher in that game with 10 rushes for 15 yards. Yeah. It was one. David Montgomery went out in the second quarter. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't play. Jonah Jackson was out. There were Sam Laporta, I think, was questionable. He didn't have much of a game. It was one of those that I think really opened the eyes to a lot of people in Detroit that if needed, Jared Goff can win you a game. Maybe not against the most elite defenses, but now this Tampa Bay defense is playing a lot better than they were earlier in the season. Antoine Winfield, he is an all-pro safety. He was another one of those Pro Bowl snubs. He's playing great. Vita Vea, we talked about the pressure, the need to stop Aaron Donald and Kobe Turner on this Rams game. Vita Vea is as good of a defensive tackle as anybody, so he's going to cause some problems. But I have a lot of faith that when this Lions team is at full strength, with which they seem to be, they can beat anybody. They can run on anybody. Their offense is so diverse, they can definitely score on anybody. Like you said, Jeff, it's going to come down to takeaways. It's going to come down to that defense and stopping that three-headed monster at wide receiver. Yeah,
it sounds so cliche, but with the team like the Bucs, it really is the turnover battle. Like, I know it's so cliche, but it's true. I want to ask you, the last 2 games, there's 2 ways to look at this. The run game hasn't been as efficient as it's been the last 2 games to end the year in Minnesota than against the Rams. And you could also say, well, Jeff, they're due for a big one. They're due. But we also know this Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, what they did to DeAndre Swift, all joking aside, they were pretty good against the run. They have a good front seven. So is there any worry on your end? Is it more they're due for a big game on the ground, or this Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it could be another game where maybe Jared has to put on his Superman cape?
Yeah, I think the run game is going to have more success than they did against the Rams. I didn't think Jahmyr Gibbs had his best running game. I thought he had a pretty great receiving game. And I thought David Montgomery, although in the middle 2 quarters, he didn't make a huge impact in terms of his yardage production. He really set the tone from the start of that game against the Rams. First play of the game was a tough 11-yard run that really just enforced the Lions' physicality. That's how I want to see the team start. And then when you needed him late, that's when they went to David Montgomery and just started to pound the rock. And one of his biggest plays was actually his one catch. I believe it was a 2nd and 7. He caught a little a pass in the flats, made a Jahmyr Gibbs like juke. Somehow it was impressive.
Huge play.
And was able to scamper forward for a first down. That was as big a play as any in the game. So I think they're due. I don't think they need a massive game. It's just going to be how Ben Johnson scripts this offense, how he game plans to mix in run game, pass game. That's the balance that the Lions want to see, so they can get into that play action pass. Which when Jared Goff is in play action, when he's not pressured. In fact, when he's not pressured in that Rams game, 22 of 22.
He was actually perfect.
Literally.
Like, not joking.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually
So you protect that man, Jared Goff's going to have a good game, and the Lions are likely going to win.
I want to ask you just some updates. I guess it's a good thing. It's a good thing they won, but it's a good thing for injuries. Khalif Raymond was ruled out. Just an update on him. And Sam Laporta is obviously going to be a week now more healed. But him, James Houston, are those guys going to be ready to go this week, you think?
I don't know about Khalif Raymond. We didn't really know how serious his injury was. We knew he was going to be out last game, but a knee injury where they knew he was at least going to miss a week. My guess is he's probably out another week, and that's just total speculation. James Houston, I expect to play. I probably said this.
That window's coming up.
It is. It opens this week. I forget which exact day, but it ends this week, I should say, the 21-day window. So they got to make a decision. Are they going to activate him to the active roster, or does he go on IR and he's done for the season? So I believe he will play. I don't know for sure, but that is what I believe. They're going to activate him. Sam Laporta will be more healthy. Offensive line didn't suffer any major injuries. Alex Anzalone came back into the game, so that was good. All in all, it was a pretty successful first weekend, sneaking out with minimal injuries.
Yeah, great stuff, Broder. I can get used to talking postseason football.
Ooh.
I can get used to this. Can we just make it go a couple more weeks? Like maybe to the
How about 3 more?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm with you, Broder.
Yeah.
That's why I got this on the desk. All right.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Broder. You can find Broder, of course, Woodward Nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. weekdays. They'll be having a show today, so tune in and check those guys out, him and Booner. Of course, Woodward in Maine, what is it, Tuesdays and Sundays. And then, of course, you can follow him on social media at MattBro21.
That's right.
There you go. Thanks, Broder. Real quick, got to hear about our friends from Premier Pet, and then we'll get back to the show.
Oh, yes. With all the celebrating I've done lately when it comes to my football teams, Michigan and the Detroit Lions, Jake and Milo, my golden retriever, and my orange cat, they have been getting a lot of extra treats and toys from Premier Pet because I'm just feeling a generous mood. And you can give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers, with one major difference: family and locally owned and operated for 30 plus years. Over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local, curbside, and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Oh, yeah. Nothing. G-G-G-G-A. Oh, sorry, I forgot. There we go. Oh, cheers, buddy. I think we need to get you a pick.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
RIP to the same old Lions. Big thanks to Sheila, Pratt, and Dan for putting it all to rest. But guess what else has found the grave right next to that? Well, it's the same old rock, paper, scissors. Jack Labrador has revolutionized that game by adding 2 new symbols in a franchise-changing three-point play. Discover the action at jacklabrador.gg and find out why once you go Jack, you never go back. Scan the QR code above and check it out. We're back here in the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. And I want to start previewing. I know we're moving fast, but we have to. The Eagles just lost to the Buccaneers. Let's start talking about the matchup. Detroit Lions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I already mentioned it a little bit earlier. I think it's going to be one of those games, Sam. It's strength on strength. Lions offense, Buccaneers defense. Their front seven versus this offensive line, the Lions offensive line, the run game. Now, Jared Goff is in a rhythm. You expect, and I mentioned it to Broder last segment, the bounce back game from the run game. And they didn't have David they had David for a little bit against the Bucs, but they didn't have Jameer. So, and this is a Bucs team that, yes, they scored 32 on the Eagles, but this is an up and down league. I do not believe they're going to come out to Ford Field and score 30 plus. I just don't see it. Baker Mayfield had one of his best games all year, and he's actually had a really good season. I don't want to get that twisted. But what do we know about Baker Mayfield? He's a gunslinger. He's like Matthew Stafford, but of course Matthew's way better. I think the turnovers, there's going to be opportunities. There's going to be opportunities. And this is a Lions defense that needs to get back to taking the football away. If they can do that, I think they're going to win this football game, no doubt in my mind. If you win the turnover battle, Jared stays clean. Not only that, but no fumbles across the board on offense, and you have a Buccaneers offense I think will turn the football over. I do like, if we're talking Lions offense, Bucs defense, I'm giving the edge to the Lions offense, and I got full confidence. At Ford Field, good luck.
Sure.
Another tough environment to play in. I
would 100% say Lions offense over Rams defense, because the Lions actually have an elite offense. I don't think you can say that about the Buccaneers defense, although the Buccaneers defense obviously have some damn good players. I mean, like Antoine Winfield Jr., who might be the best safety in the NFL right now, and the all-pro team kind of plays that out. When it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even when the Lions faced them early on in the season in Week 6 and kind of weren't taking them that seriously at that point, even though they were 3-1, but it seemed at the time to be a little bit of a fraudulent 3-1. What were some of the things that we talked about? I remember it like it was yesterday. This Buccaneers team, although at the time we didn't think they were going to be very good still, they have a lot of talented players, and they might just be undone by the fact that they had Baker Mayfield as their quarterback and no real running game. But I have to actually give a little bit of a mea culpa. I even trolled Baker Mayfield a little bit early on in the show, but he did have the best year of his career this year. The Buccaneers did win their division, even though it was with a 9-8 record in a weak division. He still did what he had to do. He wasn't supported by the running game that he was supported with in Cleveland all those years with Nick Chubb, that offensive line, and Kareem Hunt. He had Rashad White as his number one running back, who averaged 3.6 yards per carry. So credit to Baker Mayfield. The fact that he has had such a good season, at least by his standards, and even by NFL standards, I'll even give him that, I think is one of the reasons why the Buccaneers were actually able to make the playoffs. I mean, think about it. They have 2,000-yard receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and one of them, Mike Evans, led the NFL in touchdown receptions with 13. They have Levante David, who just seems to keep dipping into the fountain of youth. 134 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. Absolutely unbelievable. You've got Kalijah Kancey and Vita Vea right up in the middle, the veteran and the rookie, forming one of the best defensive tackle duos in the NFL. I think you can actually say that right now. You've got 4 players on the team with at least 5 sacks, led by Yaya Diaby with 7.5, but also Antoine Winfield and Vita Vea are part of that list as well. And yes, Yaya Diaby.
Yaya Diaby.
Yaya Diaby's the leading sack artist on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I would suggest that people put some respect on his name.
I wasn't familiar with his game.
Hey, I'm just saying. And also with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you also have to give them some credit to their resiliency. At one point during the year, they were 3-5. Then they were 4-7, and they were able to win, 5 out of their last 6 games in order to win the division and make the playoffs. So even though the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Lions, we think that they should win. I think everybody in this room would say that the Lions should win this game. But you have to take the Bucs seriously. And you especially have to take the Bucs seriously given the fact that they won a playoff game. They blew out the Philadelphia Eagles. And I get it. The Eagles were in shambles. There's a lot of turmoil. They had some injuries. But the Philadelphia Eagles are a much more talented team than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers just took it to them. And oh, by the way, we mentioned last night, and you have to give these guys credit because they showed up in playoff games. We talk about Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. One guy is going to be a future Hall of Famer, and Chris Godwin is definitely a damn good number 2 wide receiver. He had 1,000 yards as well. But last night, they weren't the ones making all of the big plays, although Godwin did have a touchdown. It was their tight end, Cade Otton, who I know Lucas liked to bring up from time to time, and I kind of dismissed. He had a big game. David Moore had a receiving touchdown, and Trey Palmer had a receiving touchdown, and they did that in the playoffs. So now you might be looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a team that is pretty deep when it comes to pass-catching threats. Because when you got guys who do that in the playoffs, all of a sudden they are now at least legit moving forward, at least in this playoff run. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you cannot take them lightly. They do have a lot of talented players, and the thing that's really put them over the top is the fact that Baker Mayfield, a guy who I scoffed and dismissed and I still don't like, had a good season. I do think it's a good matchup for the Lions defense because he is more of a pocket guy. Baker Mayfield has some of the most overrated mobility in the NFL. He's really not that mobile, and he has short little legs. Sorry. I can't just I cannot separate it sometimes. But the point is that even with the Eagles not being good, you would rather face a quarterback like Baker Mayfield than Jalen Hurts. At least right now, knowing how this Lions defense, I mean, think about it. The only players that they really gave up big games to on the ground this year are Justin Fields and Lamar. I mean, Lamar Jackson didn't have a huge game against the Lions, but those are the games in which the Lions struggled against the run, against mobile quarterbacks, and Baker Mayfield certainly is not one. So, Yes. You got to respect the Buccaneers' talent, but it's still not, I think, to the level of the Lions.
I think the biggest matchup to me, and it's a matchup that obviously favors the Lions. We had this conversation about the Rams. Kyren Williams, I thought he was the best back they faced. In the sample size he's played in the NFL, and they did pretty good against Kyren Williams. You have a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that is 31st in the NFL in rushing yards per game.
Rashad White's, I mean, they don't run the football.
But he's a damn good pass catcher. I mean, he has like 500 and something yards on the receiving. But running the football, he didn't break 1,000 this year. He almost did. But Tampa Bay's 31st. They run for about 90 per game. Then you have a Lions run defense that ranks 3rd in the league in yards per carry, 3.7. So an elite run defense versus a very, very bad run offense, rushing offense. Now, Tampa, though, defensively, is a couple spots behind Detroit in allowing the yards per carry allowed. Detroit allows 3.7, Tampa allows 3.8. So I think, but again, you also have a rushing offense that's top 5. I want to double check here. Yeah, they're 6th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. So yeah, 2 good run defenses, very different rushing offenses. One's top 6, one's 31st in the NFL.
And that's
there's the matchup.
And that's 100% fair. But the fact that the Buccaneers have a good run defense, I think I don't want to say it's a concern for the Detroit Lions, but they didn't run the ball that effectively in their last regular season game against the Vikings. Although I'm not going to take too much from that. But even in the playoff game against the Rams, the Lions ran it pretty effectively in the first half when they went on those back-to-back touchdown drives to start the game. But in the second half, it really kind of stalled. And during the 4-minute offense, it wasn't the running plays that salted the game away. It was the pass. It was the pass to David Montgomery in which he juked 97 out of his shoes, got a first down, and then the throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So the Lions rushing offense, I thought that it was damn near invincible at one point during the year. And I think it was fair to think that, especially with a healthy offensive line. But this is a challenge going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially the fact that Vita Vea is the guy in the middle, kind of like manning the middle, and then you got Kalijah Kancey as well, and then of course guys like Devin White and Levante David who can do some who can do some damage, and our veteran, very very good players, former Pro Bowlers. So yes, the rushing offense, if the Lions' rushing attack is effective, I think that they win this game going away. But I think there's a little bit of a question going against that with Tampa, although I would probably bet on the Lions' rushing offense to bounce back.
Yeah, I would too. That to me, and we'll get more in depth on it this week, but that's everything. The Lions' rushing attack getting back on track, getting back to what we've seen for a majority of the year, where you have 60, 70 yards from Montgomery and 60 yards from Jameer. Both those guys playing really well. This is the week to get it back on track. They have to, absolutely, because if they don't, it's going to be a long, tiring night. And I'm not talking about tiring like going to Planet Fitness. I'm talking about just a tiring night. Planet Fitness, you can go work out though, 30-minute workout, very easy to do. You pay $10 a month, you get in there. No, it's a judgment-free zone. No one's going to judge you. You go there. Put $10 down, you get it. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit. And you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include, fitness training. We're in the Planet Fitness studios here at Woodward Sports, and you can check out a Planet Fitness because there's more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and of course, dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods or order online at fairwaypacking.com. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, JB, if you could put the phone number in the chat for me.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Call in. I want to talk to the people. If you guys have thoughts on the game, this upcoming game, if you want to talk about the Rams game, if you want to talk about just the Lions being Super Bowl contenders, how they match up with the 49ers, anything you guys want to discuss, feel free to call in. I'm opening up the phone lines. Usually Monday we don't, because it's more of a, hey, let's recap the game.
Sure.
Let's get our thoughts out. And then Tuesday and so forth, so on, and we'll get to the people.
Bro, they're already ready, too. They're hitting the line.
Great. That's what I love. And you guys know how we do on the Morning Woodward Show. We talk to the people. We make it very important. It's a very important thing. I know not all the other shows take phone calls, but it's important. And it's just, I'm just speaking facts. I'm not taking shots. I'm just speaking facts. Lucas Klotz in the chat. Welcome, my man. He says, bring me Baker. See, Lucas, he wants that Baker matchup.
No, I mean, I would love nothing more than for the Lions to, for Aiden Hutchinson to get a couple of good licks on Baker Mayfield and maybe even bang him up a little bit. I'm not going to call for him to be knocked out of the game. This is the playoffs. I'm not going to do that. But it wouldn't shock me at all if Baker does have a miserable game and Aiden Hutchinson does get some licks on him. And by miserable game, I think every quarterback that plays the Lions is going to put up some yards. But I could also see him throwing a couple of picks. You alluded to it earlier that he will put the ball up for grabs from time to time, even though this year he's been pretty clean. But Baker Mayfield, man, this is a big test for him as well. Going into a hostile environment like Detroit, I, for one, would lean towards Baker has a subpar day that has like a legacy game.
I would as well. I know Maz would be a nightmare for him, but I really, I think
Who's
Baker,
Maz rooting for this weekend?
Baker Mayfield or the Detroit Lions.
He's going to take a victory lap no matter what.
Yeah, it's a win-win for him. It's Uncle Maz. Gritville says Packers have a power running game. Jordan Love is him. Well, that's aggressive, but he has played well. I think his last 9 games, he has like 21 touchdowns to 1 pick.
Yeah, no, he's definitely been him lately.
He says he's him. But regardless, Romeo Doubs is unstoppable. Aaron Jones feels good. Packers defense is showing up. They have puncher's chance to land a haymaker. Talking about just that matchup with the 49ers. And I said this to you. I know the Packers, it's been impressive what they've done. And I think you might have a franchise quarterback on your hands. I think they do, to be honest with you. Hopefully it's not a Hall of Famer, but they have a franchise quarterback. I think this is the week, though, where the 49ers say, hey, no, it's cute. Like, it's awesome what you guys have been doing. It's awesome. But here you go. Here's a 20-piece win. We're going to win by 20.
Well, I would probably
that's
lean
where
towards
I'm
you.
leaning. And I know the upsets have been all over the NFL playoffs. I think that ends with the 49ers and Packers. I do.
I would lean towards you on that one. And for one of the reasons is I don't think the Packers will be able to stop the 49ers. The Packers defense has been very inconsistent at times, and I don't think Brock Purdy is going to throw 2 picks, including a pick 6, because for a lot of the game, Dallas actually moved the ball okay. They just couldn't get out of their way with turnovers. This Packers defense has been inconsistent, but the Packers, with the way they played with all of the wide receiver weapons that like Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Aaron Jones had a great game, and he's been hurt for a lot of the year. So the Packers are dangerous. I would just expect the 49ers win because in my heart of hearts, even if you count the Baltimore Ravens, when the San Francisco 49ers are clicking on all cylinders, they are the best team in the NFL, including the Ravens, in my humble opinion. They are a machine.
And they have a bye week, an entire week. They have, not only are they rested, but they're fully prepared. Fully prepared. They started, I'm sure Shanahan started preparing the minute that game ended, while the Packers were just, hey, getting on a flight, heading home. Shanahan's already prepared. And they know what to, they're going to know what to expect. Kool-Aid, how the phone line's looking?
Hey, we got a couple callers on already.
Oh, you want to send them through?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. Let's get to it.
Hey, first up, we got Dyson from Detroit.
Dyson from Detroit, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
What's up, Jeff? I appreciate your input, man. You really put it down, man.
Rap, we appreciate that.
I got a quick question, man, and I appreciate your input, but I'm so worried about that secondary as well as other Lions fans. What do you think the Lions secondary, what adjustments you think they need to make to really improve on what they've been doing? Because so far this whole season, I've been so worried about that.
Yeah, and great call, Dyson. I appreciate you for calling. You're welcome back anytime. I'll answer that question. For adjustments, it's hard because this secondary is what it is. Like there's no one. I mean, Darrelle Revis isn't coming out of out of retirement and saving you. This secondary is what it is. Now, how they can save all this production they're giving up to wide receiver ones is taking the football away. That's going to help them. I don't expect them, especially this week. You got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and now you got these other guys, Cade Otton and these other players for the Bucs showing up. I don't think it'd be fair for me to say, yeah, make a couple adjustments and then we're going to shut down Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I just don't. This secondary, specifically at corner, they need help, and there's no help coming. So the only way to save this thing is takeaways. And I do think they can get back to that this week. I do.
Yeah, I would say takeaways is definitely number one, and stellar play from the safeties and like the slot corners. Like Brian Branch, he played a hell of a game. I think he's going to need to keep that up, and also be stingy in the red zone. Bend but don't break. Because the funny thing is the Lions didn't even force a Matthew Stafford turnover. They just forced the Rams to get field goals every single time they entered the red zone. They're going to give up a lot of yards. They're going to give up some big plays. I expect Mike Evans to have a big game in terms of yardage at least, but I also would expect the Lions to take the football away a time or two, especially with Baker Mayfield. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them is a Hutch sack fumble, but still, the secondary is what it is. I'm not going to all of a sudden think that any adjustment could make Cam Sutton and Kindle Vildor lock down, or like Vildor Island or Sutton Island, but just make timely plays, create some turnovers, be stingy in the red zone, and I think you'll be all right.
And I can live with the death by 1,000 cuts, where they're moving up the field. It is what it is. But the big plays kill me. Like that Puka Nacua cooking Cam Sutton for an easy touchdown. That can't happen. That if you want to talk about adjustments, maybe that can be, you can adjust to fix that. But I don't think, like you said, you can't just make an adjustment. It's Vildor Island.
But think about this, bro, though, and this is what's crazy. If you would have told me before that game that Stafford would hit a 50-yarder to Puka Nacua and a 38-yarder to Tutu Atwell, and oh, by the way, the Rams would have 5 scoring drives and the Lions would have 4, I would expect, oh yeah, the Rams win that game by probably 7 or 10 or something like that. But the thing is, with this Lions team, they just seem to create time. They get timely stops. If they get the ball back with 4 minutes left, you just know that they're going to hold on to the ball. Situational football, they have been absolutely fantastic. So that's the way that they were able to withstand giving up a couple of big plays, which at the time seemed like, oh, okay, the Lions might actually they have a double-digit lead. They might be able to create some distance, and it's like, boom, 50 yards to Nacua. Oh, they scored again, 21-10. We're going to create some distance. Boom, 38 yards to Tutu Atwell. So those plays hurt, but at the end of the day, in the second half, they didn't give up so many of those. But I would like for them to not give up 50-yard touchdowns every week.
And
nice.
I would agree that Puka is the best receiver between the two teams. But Mike Evans, guys, like, he's a problem. Like, I know people are like, we're not playing the same receiver. Trust me, Mike Evans could be that guy that one mistake, 50-yard TD.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Like that's why we have to still keep in mind that this Bucs passing attack, like, Baker will sling it. He's not afraid to throw it downfield. He's not afraid at all.
People actually said that this isn't the same wide receiver core. That's a little bit. I mean, that's the thing though. Mike Evans is still great. He's a future Hall of Famer, playing some of the best football of his life. Chris Godwin had over 1,000 yards, and I even mentioned it. David Moore had a big play last night in the playoffs. Trey Palmer had a 56-yard touchdown. K. Dot, their tight end, was their leading receiver. So I wouldn't sleep on this Buccaneers receiving core at all. It's just, I think one of them is definitely going to go off. The key is to limit the others as well. Don't let Evans and Godwin go off. And oh, by the way, sprinkle in like a long touchdown to Palmer. That's the way you lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, who else we got on the line?
You know, I got to bump somebody to the front here. He refers to himself as the ball knower.
Oh
my gosh. Let's go.
Klotz?
Let's go.
Hey, dude, I'm on speaker. Does it sound fine?
Yeah,
yes.
you sound okay, Klotz.
Fuck that bum Baker Mayfield. Bring him home, baby. Bring him home. I don't even care about the secondary. You know why? Because Aiden Hutchinson's going to be chasing that man around like that dash cam video when that man was back in Oklahoma getting smacked into a barrier by a 250-pound state trooper. I would be more scared of Nick Mullins coming into Ford Field with Justin Jefferson in that core than I am the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, that's aggressive.
Okay, I get it. Mike Evans, great wide receiver, future Hall of Famer. He's never not had 1,000 yards. But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter when Baker mid-ass Mayfield is throwing him the ball. I'm sorry, I do not care. This man has not played a legitimate secondary in like 2 months. 2 months. And then you're going to throw him into the gulag? Yeah, not a chance. Not a fucking chance. I don't really have a question. I just want everybody to know, if you have any fear in your heart for this matchup this weekend, don't. Do not. Rachaad White ain't doing shit. Baker Mayfield's not doing shit. Yeah, Mike Evans will probably get loose once or twice. But if you, like the Flannel's point that he just said, even this weekend, Puka Nacua went off, Tutu did his thing, but Cooper Kupp had 27 yards. It doesn't matter that the Lions secondary is getting exposed every week because they just find a way. And they're going to do it again, especially when Baker Mayfield's on the other side. Normally, I think the Lions need to win the time of possession to win big games. They don't even have to do that this week. They just need to win the turnover battle, plain and simple. Because Baker's going to pick down his leg eventually.
Yeah, you know what, Klotz, appreciate the call. Hey, he's not off base there.
He's not wrong.
I think if we're talking about what we fear, not even a fear, I think that, but concerns. I'm with you, Lucas. I would start with that Bucs front seven. Is that fair?
I mean, you can, but it's still the best offensive line in football, and they didn't play against.
Yes,
I mean, they technically played against David Montgomery the first time we played him, but they didn't play against Jahmyr Gibbs or Jonah Jackson. There's nothing outside of maybe Antoine Winfield, just because I respect him a little bit, that I'm really terrified. Vita Vea too. That I'm terrified about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's really not a damn thing.
Yeah,
this should be like a 2 or 3 touchdown game, in my opinion.
I could see it. I mean, it was essentially that last time they played them on the road. This time it's at Ford Field in the playoffs.
On the road?
Yeah, at Ford Field, like you said, the gulag. Yeah, Baker, It's sink or swim.
But that was it, boys.
Yeah, it's sink or swim, and he's probably sinking. Thanks, Lucas, for the call. Appreciate you,
Lucas.
man.
Yep. Love you, boys. Be safe. Roads are terrible. People are driving stupid, so know how to drive, people.
There you go.
Love you, Lucas.
The ball knower. You can send the next caller through. What do we got?
Hey, Devin from Inkster, Mr. Energy himself.
Devin, welcome to the show, brother. What's on your mind?
I gotta continue the fucking hype. Are you fucking serious? It's over 30 years! I've been waiting for this shit! This is the best week in Michigan history! Flannel! What the fuck is up, my man?
Bro.
Oh!
I cannot even contain just how much celebrating it's been. I mean, they talked about it. We talked about it on yesterday's show, or it may have been on this show or in the back talking to the guys. Is this the best week in the history of football ever? It's like yes. It's just going into every single week, there's just another epic celebration, another night where there's no sleep. I mean, Michigan won the goddamn Natty, and then the Lions won a playoff game. Those are some 1,000-pound gorillas that the Michigan program got off their back, and the Detroit Lions football franchise, NFL franchise, got off their back. So great week, great time to be a fan of football in the state of Michigan, unless if you're an MSU guy. But even we can all break bread when it comes to the Detroit Lions. But still, amazing week. I'm glad that we're all happy.
Devin, what do you think about the Bucs this week?
Man, fuck Baker Mayfield, his old patty cake having ass. Man, fuck yeah, bro. You know, they sent his ass to the gulag when the Cleveland Browns don't want you, but they got Joe Flacco. That must be a real fucking issue. If Joe Flacco was outperforming you and he came off the fucking couch and you, I'm Baker. Yeah, you know, I'm a swag and surf. I'm a dance on these fools. Fuck you. Fuck you. And you know what? The same day, it hurt my heart a little on the childhood part to see Stafford see stars on the ground for a quick second, because I was just like, yeah, he gonna get the fuck back up, but we still gonna lay your ass back right down. But that image, but Lee McNeil just dragging his ass, throwing him just like how Hutch threw Jefferson in the backfield on week 18, and just fucking dragging him all the way back and keep throwing back. And the best part about this, fellas, is that we fucking could go to the damn Super Bowl.
Yep.
And we could have the Ravens. We could have both Harbaughs on the damn sideline, and we have one Harbaugh trying to cheer for us and the other one trying to beat our ass. But we could get that lick back. I want lick backs this year. It's all about fucking lick backs. We already got our lick back with the fucking Dallas Cowboys. We got our lick back with the damn referees giving us. Who would have ever saw the Lions getting referee calls on our side,
right,
when knowing that we did hold him?
Yeah.
That's the fuck. Tell me there ain't no fucking coup de grace. That would fucking put some respect on my damn name at this point.
Yeah, Devin, when I saw that, I didn't see it. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Because you're right.
Hey,
because you're right, though. The Lions are usually on the other end of that. And you saw the offsides call, and then, we'll let that one at the end slide. All right, victory. We'll take the victory, though. Appreciate the call, Devin. You're the GOAT.
Absolutely, guys. Love you guys. Go fucking Lions. Go everything. Booner Pass. Booner Pass.
All right. I love it. We got the Booner Pet. He's got to get some merchandise for that.
That is take it off.
Let's go to break and then stay on the line. We're gonna get to more callers. We're gonna go to break quickly, and then when we get back, we'll answer some more. We'll answer some more calls here. First, though, got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Swiss Insurance, absolutely. Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do, unless you're living under a rock. It has been the best week of football in the history of the state of Michigan, and to celebrate that, and maybe even more better weeks coming ahead, shop your home and auto insurance with Swiss Insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Hey, are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports merch, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click on that shop tab. We've got hoodies, we got tees, we got hats, everything guaranteed to turn heads at your next live watch party. Or hey, if you're going down to Ford Field, hey, get that Stoke Not Scared t-shirt. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com and click on the shop tab.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate your presence. If you can do us a favor, hit the like button on the stream. It helps the stream, helps the network, helps us out as well. You can get the Morning Woodward Show on any podcast platform you get your podcast. Leave a 5-star review. Whatever you want to say. Leave that 5-star review. We'd appreciate it a ton. Let's get more callers in.
Yes, sir.
Who's on the line waiting for us?
We got official from South Carolina.
Official. Did I say that right? Welcome to the show,
Yeah,
brother.
you said it right.
All right, what's on your mind, brother? What's on your mind?
What's going on, fellas? Man, one thing, first things first. Shout out to the Lions, man.
Yes, sir.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But to address some real issues, that secondary, man, we getting killed. Bill Dorr. It's like, I don't know. It's like they like a step from like it's just like a step off, man. And one thing I do want to say, with CJ being back, that is going to clear up some of those big boy passes that's being made. Like, if we would have had him for that Dallas game, that 92-yarder to CeeDee Lamb, I doubt that would have happened, man.
Yeah,
I doubt that would have happened.
Yeah.
But if those guys, man, they can get it on one accord, I think we'll be right there in the Super Bowl, if not winning it.
It's so funny because it almost seems like every time, at least lately, that the Lions have allowed a number one receiver to go off, like Puka Nacua, like Justin Jefferson, like CeeDee Lamb, for example, even going back to Chris Olave. Every game they pretty much won except the Dallas one, which, you know, we all know there is some controversy. I will say that nicely to that, and it's easier to stomach since the Cowboys just lost in the playoffs. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all if Mike Evans had a big game, if Chris Godwin had a big game, but Baker Mayfield still threw an interception or two, and the Lions still won, because when it all comes down to it, and we've talked about it on yesterday's show, and Lucas mentioned it early on when he called, Puka Nacua had a damn good game. Cooper Kupp didn't do jack. Cooper Kupp didn't do a damn thing because, you know, a lot of, like, Brian Branch played a hell of a game playing in the slot. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he wasn't perfect, but I remember one of the end zone passes to Cooper Kupp, which was incomplete. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was the one covering him. So you're right. I think the safeties have to be absolutely huge. They're going to be one of the keys for this playoff run, because I don't think Cam Sutton or Kendall Vildor will all of a sudden turn into lockdown corners. No disrespect to them, but our strength in the secondary is the safeties.
Yeah, you talk about the safety, CJ, Kirby, Brian, those guys got to get picks. Official, they do, like intercept. Turning the ball over, man. That's how you swing the game. If you're giving up 150 yards, man, you need a pick six too. Will be great, but turnovers are everything.
Let me say one thing. Let me just say one thing before I hang up. Could you imagine if we Sunday, if we can close out, if Green Bay can beat
saying, Fran, that last game will be Detroit versus Green Bay, and we beat Green Bay. That would be something.
Yeah, what? All Ford Field throughout the playoffs into the Super. That is crazy. That is crazy.
That will be an amazing storyline.
Yeah.
Dog.
You know what? I want Jordan Love. I want that storyline. I want him to go to Ford Field. I want him to.
I got a
that.
couple Pack fans I work with, man. That'll be amazing.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I can just that in their face, man.
Man, appreciate the call, official. Great call today, man. You're welcome back anytime.
Y'all hold it down, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. You can bring in the next caller. We'll try and take as many as we can before we go to break here in a couple minutes. Who we got?
We got Isaac from Manistee, Michigan.
Isaac, welcome to the show. We appreciate you. What's on your mind?
How's it going, fellas?
What's going on?
First and foremost, what a day to be alive and live in the state of Michigan. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No question.
First, though, at secondary, why don't they use Brian Branch to play the second corner instead of Vildor? And let Kirby and Iffy play safeties and CJ play the nickel?
Well, I think Brian, he's in. Trust me, I've thought about that as well. And I think the only explanation I have is because of what Brian Branch can do in the backfield. Like he is a true slot corner. Like it's not just an outside corner. What he can do against the run, blitzing. Like he has so many more skills than the average just outside corner. I think slot fits him the best. You see the tackle for losses he's had at Alabama. He's a football player. I think he's best utilized in the slot. But hey, I mean, if you're telling me replace Kendall Vildor with Brian Branch, I'm not going to hate it at all. I just think his strengths, all the things he brings to the table, he can do in the slot. To be honest with you, that's the only explanation I have for you.
Yeah. I mean, I get all that. He does make some plays in that backfield, but man, CJ brings the wood.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Let him cook in that backfield, I think, and let Branch cover because he's like Flannel said, he's one of their best cover guys.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't give a damn. Called up Stephen Gilmore. I don't give a shit. Like Kendall Vildor, right. He's barbecue chicken, and then Cam Sutton isn't even a number one corner. So corner is a problem. Like we understand that, and that's the biggest need. As soon as the season ends, you go figure that out. There's no doubt.
Yeah. I love you guys. I listen to you every morning.
Hey, appreciate you, Isaac. You're the GOAT, man. Thanks for the call. You're welcome back anytime. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. I just have to mention this, that we are all concerned and at times upset with how the corners have played for the Detroit Lions. But at the same time, it never really has cost them. The only time you can really point to it in terms of like letting a number one wide receiver absolutely kill you and the Lions losing was that Cowboys game. And we all know that was actually pretty fraudulent. We can even go back to Keenan Allen. And I'm not saying you want to make a habit for the rest of the playoffs or in years going forward of just, being weak at the cornerback position, but I think that's one of the reasons why people aren't even more mad, because if it cost the Lions some games, I think we would all be outraged. I think it would be the number one story on every single show, but they just keep winning, and that's one of the reasons why I too would keep Brian Branch in the slot, because look at how good of a job he did against Cooper Kupp, and he didn't play a lot of outside corner this year, but he has done a great job in the slot. So yeah,
no doubt. Bring in the next caller, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
We'll go to break here.
We got Kyle from Sterling Heights.
Kyle from Sterling Heights, man. Well, that's towards my area code.
There we go.
Kyle, welcome to the show. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, how y'all doing? Go Lions.
Yes, sir. Go Lions.
Yeah. So I actually have two real big things on my mind. First and foremost, going into this Sunday, going to be down in Detroit. Oh, actually, big other thing. A couple weeks ago, saw you guys over at the Eastern Market at Bullseye Tailgate at Eastern Market when we destroyed the Vikings.
Okay.
Great seeing all of you guys over there.
Yeah.
But one thing, going into this game against the Buccaneers, like my friend was texting me last night, she's an Eagles fan, so she was upset about all that stuff. But she was like saying, hey, you guys beat the Buccaneers earlier in the year, but as the last caller said, I'm really worried about that secondary.
Right.
Even though we did beat the Buccaneers, I am worried about that secondary. Also, maybe a lot of people are getting a little too confident and overlooking the Bucs. I don't know how you guys feel about that as well. But the other thing is, how you guys feeling about the Rams' response to all of us celebrating? Because I've been seeing a lot of people saying, how could you boost Stafford like that? How could you do this? How could you do that? And it's like, yeah, he was our quarterback, but he's the enemy.
Yeah.
He's the opponent quarterback. Like, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to shower him with cheers and all that? Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I don't. No one in that stadium wanted Matthew to feel warm and fuzzy. No one did. I mean, the people that say that stuff, man. Like people that say that stuff, you can tell a lot. None of them are from Detroit. Like
Sure.
if you're from Michigan, you understand the assignment. You understand that Matthew's the enemy. Not saying that everyone hates him. You don't have to hate him, but when they played on Sunday, you hated him. You wanted him to lose, and it's that simple. So what I think about the Rams fans, I think they're butthurt, and you see the NFL graphic of it was the cartoon of Matthew coming out and all the Lions fans holding the signs. We love you, 9. Hell no. Hell no. In a playoff game, we haven't seen seen a win in 30 years. You expect us to make them feel warm and fuzzy and welcome and put up a little tribute video? Fuck all that.
Well, and the funny thing is, go ahead, Kyle.
Well, I was just going to say, and not only that, something that he never could do when he was with the Lions, and that's win a playoff game.
Exactly. And to your point about the Bucs, really quick, I want to add to that. You said if people overlooking them, I do think it would be easy too, because you look at the game already. Lions are favored by almost a touchdown. It's at home. You're coming off a big win. People are like, well, the hard test is out the way. Now here come the Buccaneers. And the Eagles actually kind of dominated the Buccaneers early in the season, and it didn't look like that yesterday. So not all games, like people bring up, well, the Lions beat the Buccaneers. It's going to be a very different game, but I think we can all agree the Lions are the better team, and they're at home. So they should win the football game. But are people sleeping on them? Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, they're better, and they should win. They're favored.
I think the number one person who's sleeping on him was our former comrade Lucas Klotz. I mean, damn. But no, I can understand why you would sleep on them. But as I mentioned early on in the show, they've got a lot of talented players at a lot of different positions, particularly at wide receiver and in their front seven, and guys who are young and who are emerging and who played very, very well last night. I think the wild card in that game is going to be Baker Mayfield, and whether or not Aiden Hutchinson and the rest of the defensive line, probably more Aiden Hutchinson, can get pressure on Baker Mayfield and get a sack or two even, and just make Baker Mayfield feel his presence, because that's kind of what Matthew Stafford, I think, is still seeing Aiden Hutchinson in his nightmares. He had a good game. I'm not gonna deny that, but Aiden Hutchinson was back there all game
McNeil.
long. Yes, absolutely. McNeil was very good too.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate the call, Kyle. Thank you, man.
One more thing.
What's on your mind?
One more thing as well. I was just going to say, I don't normally do this, but I think a lot of people here in Detroit are going to be cheering on the Green Bay Packers to face San Francisco. The road to the Super Bowl should go through Detroit.
Yes.
Definitely cheer for the Packers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need Jordan Love to have one more good game and then just completely shit the bed in the NFC Championship game. That's all. That's what we need.
There we go.
Exactly.
Thanks, Kyle.
But, hey, thank you guys. Have a great morning.
Yeah, you
too.
as well,
Thank you.
man. Appreciate it. Let's head to break here. We got more people waiting, don't we? Yeah. Maybe we'll take some more. I don't want to leave people hanging. We'll try to get to every phone call, and then we'll talk about the Jim Harbaugh stuff, because he just finished up an interview with the Los Angeles Chargers.
All right.
And you don't see all college coaches taking interviews.
No, you
Seems
don't.
like there's just one guy that just keeps flirting with the NFL. It's
National
weird.
championship winning Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later on. We'll try to get to that. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Big Boy, because, guys, place to go, especially you're celebrating victories. You have the day off, especially yesterday. It was a perfect opportunity. Head over to Big Boy. They got breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, whatever you need. They have it. Wintertime in Detroit is always better because they have comfort foods. On top of that, you could get the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by our local Big Boy today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's number one Chevy dealer. 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest to you. You can catch Woodward Sports live from Feldman Chevrolet every other Monday to recap Lions games. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're going to get to one more caller, and then we'll move on. Send him through. Who do we got waiting?
Hey, look, we got Rome from Washington State, but he wanted to make known that he's born and raised in Jackson, Michigan.
There you go, Rome. Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about?
Man, I am so glad we put the Stafford LA Rams to bed, baby.
Me too.
It's done. It's done. It's over. The vertical game is where we need to stay with. This outside stuff in the playoffs just does not work with better teams, man.
Yeah.
And I am just so elated. I'll be 60 in May. I remember the 91 season. I had friends in Dallas when I lived in Fort Worth, Texas, over for that game when Eric Kramer dropped a bomb on them.
Yeah.
And I was so ecstatic. And then they just fell off. They came back in 94, nothing.
Yeah.
This team is built. I believe. I am so excited, man. This team is built for a long time, and I am so. It's unbelievable. The rookies we've got, the way they've contributed this year is it's amazing. I've never seen it before on any team.
Yeah, and Rome, I can relate to that as well. I mean, listen, my dad, me and him have a ton of conversations. He's been a Lions fan for a long time, and it just feels different. It's not just the playoff win, to your point, Rome, because they won one in 91, 92, but it's what's to come. It's what they're building. We know, and it looks sustainable because of Brad Holmes, Sheila, Dan Campbell, and the players they have in-house. So I'm with you. It's not just this year, but it's the next 5, the next 10, what the Lions can do in the future. It's exciting. It's an exciting time in Detroit for the Lions.
What kind of bothers me is the way the NFL is built now with the big money deals with big time name players, and it kind of messes up building a team and building a family. Right. You know what I mean? We saw the greatest of all time, the GOAT, and he took pay cut salaries, but I mean, he had a wife that was like a rich, and he could do that.
Right.
The family. That's what this team is built off of, and that's the only thing that worries me is the way the NFL is built with the big salaries.
Mm-hmm.
It can ruin a team to be me instead of us.
Yes. Yeah, and that's how the leagues change. But you have a coach that I think just keeps players grounded, which I love. Dan Campbell and the players they have in house, they're great. It's not just they're great players.
Oh, absolutely.
They're great characters. Like, none of these guys are drama queens. You just don't see it. And I think Dan does a good job there. Appreciate the call, Rome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, take care. Listen, I said one more call, but we have a guy calling that I think is just a special somebody, and we go the extra mile for this specific man. And Ted is calling the show the most legendary Lions fan I have ever came and run into. And Ted, welcome to the show. I want to ask you, how are you feeling? Lions won a playoff game. What's on your mind? They have an opportunity to maybe reach a Super Bowl this year.
Well, I thought we were a year away, but now I'm changing my mind.
I'm with you, Ted. I'm with you.
Well, very emotional for me. Like a lot of Lions fans, it brings tears to my eyes. And I'm just so happy for golf. And I'm glad we're putting this. I have nothing bad to say about Stafford, but let's move on. Forget it. Our guys golf until we get a new young quarterback. It's golf all the way. And just a tremendous job our young players are doing, and our general manager and our coach. I just have all the belief in Brad Holmes, and you can certainly see that Campbell does. So
Yes.
That's what I have to say this morning.
Ted, what do you
I started talking to you when I was 90, and now I'm 2 months away from 92.
We're gonna get you that Super Bowl, Ted. I want to ask you, what do you think about this week's matchup, the Bucs? You feel confident this week?
Oh yeah, let's not get overconfident. But we handled them once early in the season, and I think we're better than we were then. So
right,
they're going to have to deal with a lot of noise. Even McVay, the coach, said he'd never seen anything like it. The way the fans are helping the team when the other team is on offense is tremendous. You know, I would go way back to, and I was at ball games when the fans would get that loud and excited, and the refs would penalize them 15 yards if they didn't quiet down.
So stupid.
They actually did penalize them. I saw Detroit get penalized 2 consecutive 15-yard penalties when I was at a game.
That is crazy.
Because they wouldn't be quiet enough to let the opposing team hear their signals. That's the way it used to be.
Oh, I'm glad it's not like that anymore, because Ford Field is thriving in how it is now, Ted. Thank you for the call. We got to get you back next week. The Lions win. We got to get a weekly call from Ted to kind of all the way to the Super Bowl, okay?
Oh, I will be here, and be happy to talk to you folks.
All
Go
right.
Lions.
Go Lions. Thank you, Ted, for calling. You're welcome back anytime. For those who are new to the show, Ted is a legend. He's 92, I believe he is. 92-year-old Lions fan, and he's really seen it all. He's actually seen it all. So when the Lions do things like they did on Sunday, yeah, it's cool. Like I like it for myself, but I love it for people like Ted.
Nobody, I think, was probably happier on Sunday night than our good friend Ted, because man, that's just all those. I mean, he was probably around and saw the 57, saw when they were actually a dynasty in the 50s, and has gone a lot of lean years. So good for Ted. He's one of the people that you root for and you're happiest for. Even happier, like you said, I'm happier for him than I am me. Than I am for like friends of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, listen, Ted said it best. He wants a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And, hey, hopefully the Lions deliver that man a Super Bowl. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll bring up the Jim Harbaugh stuff, and then we'll get to what's trending with JB and, of course, mailbag. So get your questions ready for 9:50. We'll take questions. Right now, though, got to hear about our friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Guardian Alarm, the type of defense that even the Lions could use at some point. Let me just... there it is. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Stay out, Baker.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward and Main Street. The Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Fairway Packing Company. Well, the purveyors of the finest meats since 1956. Start your order today at fairwaypacking.com. You can order online, or you can visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods, or you can even call the phone number, 313-332-5114. Prime beef, dry aged beef, anything you like, get it at Fairway Packing Co. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. I see the chat's going wild for Brandon Katz. And I got to give him a lot of credit. I've never seen a man be so wrong but continue to show up. I actually give him a lot of credit for that. And I'm not trolling.
Yeah, I mean,
like, he's been taking a lot of L's lately, and he's still here. So hey,
he's one of those. He's said a few things in the past that I've agreed with, but lately it's just when the Lions win, it's just he's never happy.
No, he's taking some L's. It's okay. That happens. I do want to bring up though Jim Harbaugh. Just finished up an interview with the Los Angeles Chargers. Thank you for this, JB. Look at that, the Chargers. And I mentioned this before. The job that makes the most sense to me if I'm Jim is the Chargers. Very simple. I go to a situation where, cap situation's a disaster, but you get the best available quarterback out of all the jobs.
Oh, by far.
So, and if you're Jim, he's getting up there in age. He sees what his brother's John doing with Lamar freaking Jackson, a 2-time MVP, and he thinks to himself, well, if I'm going to get back into the NFL, I got to have an elite quarterback. I got to compete now. I'm not going to go to Las Vegas. I think Lucas threw that out there. No, I'm not going to coach Aiden O'Connell. I'm not going to the Bears. Oh, actually, maybe the Bears if they were getting Caleb, but they're keeping Eberflus. I think that the Chargers makes the most sense. It does. And there's even rumors that they're looking at the assistant general manager. I have to double check this. I want to make sure I get my facts straight here. Somebody from, I think the Bills or the Giants, there's somebody they're looking to bring in for a GM job for the Chargers, and they have ties to Jim Harbaugh. I have to get the name officially. But what this tells me, and you saw it with the storyline of him bringing in an agent who specializes in NFL coaches, Jim is out of there. J.J. McCarthy is declaring for the NFL, which, it's a whole nother thing. I think he should have stayed, to be honest with you. For his sake. Even though he won an Addy, I think for his development, I think it'd be best for if he returned, but he's declaring for the NFL, and I think Jim's going to go with him. I do, and I'm going to stand on that.
This is interesting because obviously I want Jim Harbaugh to be back. I think he is the greatest coach in Michigan football history, the greatest football figure in Michigan football history, and I will continue to say that until somebody usurps him, which I don't believe will ever happen because that is how much I respect Jim Harbaugh, bringing a national championship back, bringing the Michigan program to a level where even during the time around 1997, it had never been this good. 3 consecutive wins over Ohio State, 3 consecutive Big Ten championships, and a national championship. 3 college football playoff appearances. So that is all great. I will forever be grateful for what he's done to the program no matter what should happen. And that's kind of the mindset that I'm in right now. I'm still on that high from the national championship. I'm still just a satisfied fan in a lot of ways, but he might leave. Rarely do you get a job where a quarterback as good as Justin Herbert is left without a coach. I mean, maybe Nick Sirianni will get fired and the Eagles will be looking for a vacancy, but I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs job is going to be open anytime soon unless Andy Reid retires, or like even the Cincinnati Bengals or the Buffalo Bills. I know there's been some talk about Sean McDermott getting fired, but if they make a deep playoff run, especially if they win next week against the Chiefs at home, I think he is going to stay right where he's at. So it would be an interesting opportunity. Matt Broder in the chat, I lost it, but I kind of remember the gist of what he's saying. Broder says Jim stays at Michigan or he goes to the Washington Commanders, which I believe football-wise doesn't make a lot of sense, but we all know the Harbaughs are close. His parents basically live, just across the street from him or whatever. He'd be right next to his brother John. I think all the Harbaughs could just be in that Maryland area and just be all in harmony, but I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing, though. And this is why I can make a case for Washington, even though I know when you think of Washington, you're like, organizationally, not the best. New ownership.
Yeah.
Ton of cap space. They have the number 2 overall pick.
That's true.
And they have a lot of draft picks. So they have a lot. That is a treasure chest of assets. So if I'm the Commanders, you got to look at it from their perspective. And I want to get JB and Brandon's thoughts on this. If I'm the Commanders, I want someone that can come in and change the culture. Someone that can come in, and why not pay a bag to Jim Harbaugh, which I think the ownership would be willing to do, kind of change the image of the Commanders. And I just think with the assets they have, it's intriguing to Jim. I do. But I would pick the Chargers if I had to pick one.
So you pick the Chargers if you had to pick one?
There's 2 jobs. The only 2 jobs I think that Jim is going to – we'll see if he gets interviewed. I don't think he's interviewed for Washington. It's the Commanders or Chargers. But I would lean Chargers because they have a proven commodity at quarterback.
I agree with that. I do like the Chargers, and Harbaugh loves his quarterbacks. But let me throw another one out there for you as well, too, because it's rumored that the Raiders could quite potentially be taking J.J. McCarthy with their first pick in the draft to kind of entice Harbaugh to come to the Raiders.
That is such a Raiders move.
It is a very Raiders move. And, yes, there are some nice links between the Raiders and Jim Harbaugh. But, I mean, it is a smart move on their behalf, too, if they do decide to do this. I mean, he loves his quarterback. This is a quarterback that he knows very well. Coaching them in college, just moving along in the professional league. Like, hey, this could be an easy transition for both Harbaugh and JJ. What do you think?
I mean, say what you want about JJ and his status as a first-round pick, or whether or not he needed to stay to get a little bit more development, work on some things, and I can actually agree with you about that to some extent. And of course, selfishly, I wanted him back, but at the same time, the Raiders don't have a quarterback. They have some pieces, though. I mean, they were able to finish the season very, very strong once Antonio Pierce took over, but I mean, is J.J. McCarthy going to be an upgrade over Aiden O'Connell? I think so. Is Jimmy G an absolute bum and never was any good ever, Matt Broder? Yes. That's all well and good. So the Los Angeles Raiders, the quarterback position, they really don't have anybody. So I think that I don't know. There's a lot of jobs open. There's some jobs with intrigue. You talk about the Washington Commanders. They kind of have the opposite situation as the Chargers. A lot of, if they play their cards right, if they draft well, if they sign a couple of good free agents, maybe they could get good quickly. And then the Chargers are one of those that they're probably going to have to get rid of some players. Justin Herbert, obviously we know what he can do, but I don't know if they're going to be able to build a good enough roster. So it's, I guess the question is, when you look at the three of the jobs, you look at great quarterback, enticing situation, but just coming off of like a 4-13 season, you need a lot of things to go your way, or the opportunity to be reunited with your former college quarterback, or he could just do the right thing and stay at Michigan.
Well, it's interesting because there's so many coaches now that are available that you just didn't see happening, and maybe you saw happening, but it is still surprising. I mean, Bill Belichick's out there. Mike Tomlin walked away from the podium when asked about his last year of his deal. So like Mike Tomlin's out there. You got to think if you're the Cowboys, like, and I get Jim Harbaugh certainly could be an option. I think Jim values control, and I don't think the Dallas Cowboys would be a good fit for him with Jerry personally. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Bill Belichick makes the most sense for the Cowboys. I just think it because he could come in and he has Jerry's respect immediately. So I think that maybe Mike Tomlin would be in consideration. But what about you, Brandon? Where are you at with Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL?
It feels like the Chargers is it's kind of the fit for him. He's been out on the West Coast before, and if you're going to go anywhere after Michigan, you probably want to go somewhere a little bit more warm, somewhere where the talent is kind of it fits as it relates to the quarterback being there. I like the Raiders speculation, but I just don't know if he comes to the NFL if he's trying to start over with a quarterback. And with JJ just entering the NFL, that's something that you probably got to coach him up for maybe a year or two until he's the guy that you want. I believe he wants to hit the NFL running. I think that he gets those best chances either with the Chargers, or I kind of like the speculation about the Washington Commanders as well. I think that they present with him a little bit more kind of ready-made teams to be able to get things going.
And they might be able to offer him a little more control too. Because if you're the Commanders, like I just want to change the narrative around this organization. So if it means giving Jim some more control, cool. And I think he'd be open to that. I think the Chargers would hire a GM that he likes. So I think the Chargers make sense. That's why Jim, if you're Jim and you've been at Michigan, you've had full control. Like it's going to be hard if you go to an organization where there's already an established GM and you're going to have to kind of abide by some of their rules and some of what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, the Commanders, they were once a proud franchise, but over the last 30-plus years, especially when Dan Snyder was their owner, they have kind of turned into that clown car joke of a franchise that hasn't done anything in a while. They're like the Dallas Cowboys on steroids because it's been even longer since they've won, and they haven't even been a consistent playoff team. But with the Commanders, is Jim Harbaugh willing to be patient? I know that you can draft Drake May with the second overall pick, and it'll be an upgrade over Sam Howell. I know they've got some intriguing running backs like Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, some receivers like Terry McLaurin that are intriguing, but they did just trade away two of their best defensive players. Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, obviously are very good, but I don't see the Commanders being good quickly.
Yeah,
which you probably shouldn't expect that coming into a job that is vacant, but at the same time, Jim Harbaugh has pretty much won right away every single place that he's been, including the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll see if he's willing to want to deal with a start of a rebuild, even a rebuild that has a lot of, in terms of draft capital and cap space, a lot that, if done correctly, could be accelerated quickly, like the Detroit Lions, for example.
And we're going to get through, we'll get to it at some point now, maybe towards the end of the playoffs, about where we think coaches are going to land. I'll give you the 3 Jeff guarantees, all right?
All right.
And I have not a lot of information on this, but this is just my opinion. Belichick to the Cowboys, I think is going to happen. Harbaugh to the Chargers, I think is going to happen. And I think Vrabel to the Raiders is going to happen. I think because Brady is around that organization. And I think Mark Davis certainly listens to Brady. So I think Brady knows Vrabel. And I think if they're looking to kind of, again, change some of the culture, they just got done with Josh McDaniels, why not bring in a guy like Vrabel? It's a perfect guy to fit with Vegas. So those are my 3 that I think I almost want to say book it, because I think they're just perfect fits. Maybe Vrabel goes to Seattle, who knows? But those are the 3, at least the 2, Belichick to the Cowboys and Harbaugh to the Chargers, those are the 2 that I think are just happening. I don't know. That's just the feeling I get.
Well, the thing is, the Raiders obviously had some success with Antonio Pierce. And I'm not saying that they're going to hire him on long term, although I think they should strongly consider it. But wouldn't you consider Mike Vrabel a much more seasoned and experienced and successful version of Antonio Pierce? I mean, I know Antonio Pierce could definitely get there, but one of those former linebackers, players coach, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you're right. I think Antonio Pierce deserves the job, but I'm trying to be realistic. I think they're going to do him dirty.
But Mike Vrabel would be a fantastic hire for them.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it. Let's go to break. We go back. We'll get to what's trending with JB. Then we'll get to mailbag at 9:50. Right now, though, got to hear about our friends from Dispo.
Dispo. Start the new year lifted. Visit Dispo Dispensary today for exclusive new deals. Experience Dispo Dispensary, a team that curates an unbelievable atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. Come through our stores or order on Dispo Dash today. New year, new deals, same plug. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Local.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. Yes, that's right. I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you do us a favor, like the stream. That helps us, helps the network, and you can find our show on any podcast platform, wherever you get your podcast. Morning Woodward Show. Leave a 5-star review. It's time. If you have a watch on, check it. It's that time of the day. What's trending with JB? JB, what do you got for us?
Oh, man. Look, yesterday, a game was actually played between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Despite the mounds and mounds of snow that covered Highmark Stadium. And this right here is a not edited picture, but 2 fans in the stands right now.
Bruh.
Just surrounded by snow. And I don't know about you, but I don't even think I could survive this right here. This is a video shot by AEW wrestler Dr. Britt Baker, who was at the game. She's a Steelers fan. This is their seats around from them.
Here we go.
That is unreal. I don't even think I could survive watching that game outside. What about you guys?
I would say, I'll say this, Sam. I'm impressed that the field was that clear.
Yeah.
Like they got to work. I saw people bringing snow pants to the stadium. But I give credit to those fans. Bills Mafia, the craziest fan base probably in the entire NFL. Jumping on tables.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting in a foot of snow. Hey.
And we all
That's why I
know
love the NFL.
We all know that Bills Mafia would have showed up even if they would have played that game on Sunday.
Yeah.
And congratulations to the. I don't want to say congratulations too much because they won one playoff game, but I enjoyed that one. You know me and how I can be sometimes. But can we stop talking about how Josh Allen doesn't play well in big games? I'm kind of tired of that narrative because in his playoff career, I know it's not about Josh Allen, but I'm just going to get on my soapbox really quick. 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. The man plays big in the playoffs. I don't know where that big game narrative came from. He had one bad big game in the home game against Cincinnati last year, but Josh Allen continues to show out in the playoffs.
Yeah, did Neil roll in today?
Yes.
Over under how many minutes he spends talking about that game? I'll give you 1.5.
Yeah. Like a half.
We'll go under. Yeah, I think he won't even mention Josh probably. That's why I love Neil. All right, what do you...
He probably won't even mention Josh. But,
they'll let that one slide.
Another fan base that is upset, as you already know, the Dallas Cowboys. Not only the fan base, but even former star wide receiver Michael Irvin.
When I got here, I understood the men before me. They built the Dallas Cowboys. They made this America's team. They put a championship on the table. Before I got here, my job while I was here is to match what they have done to us. They built it. They handed it to me. Put my damn championship on the table. That's all we ask. Put your damn championship on the table, and you couldn't do it. All their asses gotta go.
He's pissed. So, Jerry, you're in the hot seat as well, too. You better fix this team. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, Michael Irvin, he is entertaining. I'll tell you that. He should work at, like, the AEW, WWE, like, his voice. Like, that man, he can talk. But I don't know where he's been the last 5 years because this is nothing new. 10 years. Where have you been, Michael Irvin?
Well,
this is an average year of being a Cowboys fan. 12-5 in a first round exit.
No, that is
Cowboys.
That is 100% true. I just think Michael Irvin is probably reverting back to his playing days when the Cowboys were one of the dynasties of the 1990s, winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 seasons, all of which Michael Irvin was a big part of. Think about this.
Was that when TV was just colored? What are we doing, Michael Irvin?
No, I'm just saying that like he has a standard for how the Cowboys are supposed to be. You know what's funny about Michael Irvin too? This isn't the only team that he played for that has kind of been burnt down to the ground. He was also he won a national championship and was a big contributor on the Miami Hurricanes of the 80s. And look what's happened to their program. Look what's happened to the Dallas Cowboys. And with the Cowboys, it's almost more heartbreaking because they have a lot of regular season success and always flame out in the playoffs. Right. I get his anger just because he probably feels like that team should be. There's a standard of winning that they just haven't reached in the last almost 30 years.
Jesse Adams says he kept saying there aren't any guys on this Cowboys team with heart or any fight. Yeah.
Damn.
That's
how can you blame them for saying that after that game? They looked rattled and it seemed like they quit at some point.
I'll tell you one thing, Belichick, that team wouldn't look like that if he was coaching in a playoff game. They looked completely just unprepared, just didn't give a damn. Like that's to me that's coaching. But yeah, hey, Michael Irvin, sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah, sorry but not sorry. And lastly, I don't know if you guys have ever wanted to know what a $10,000 suite at an NBA game looks like, but check this out. Have a nice little bar there. Some drinks.
Yeah, I see the long drinks. Okay.
Yeah, some drinks there. Some nice little spread over here. Some more dirt.
What the hell is that's the spread? Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, got some glizzies. All right. Okay.
That is chicken and tendies.
Yep. I mean, how much you see this was?
This is $10,000.
And I'm getting fucking chicken fingers.
I'm getting popcorn.
I'm getting chicken fingers, popcorn, and a couple cookies. Bitch, I better have crab legs if I'm paying $10,000.
Bro, that looks like the American part of the buffet from Chinese.
No, hold on. No.
Yeah, so $10,000 goes somewhat of a long way.
Hell
I guess.
no. I ain't no. If I'm paying $10,000, I better have some crab legs. Like you better provide. No, I'm not having chicken fingers, chocolate chip cookies, a couple taquitos,
Little Caesars pizza.
And yeah, fuck no,
Those
dude. Are you kidding me?
You
shitting me?
$10,000, really?
Yep.
I mean, I'm not saying that wouldn't be a wonderful viewing experience. I mean, not to.
I want some Fiji.
Hey,
like give me some Fiji water. I want it. No,
Fiji water for sure. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be in a suite for a couple Tigers games via my wife, not via me. Some of the. Through her work, and it's a great experience. But even that, it's like it's the same, like hot dogs, chicken fingers, like beer, soda, cookies. It's not the most gourmet thing.
So unimpressed right now, bro. He looks so unimpressed.
Damn.
You give me a $10K, I get Coors Light, a long drink. By the way, great drink.
Yeah,
some Diet Coke in there as well,
Diet
too.
Coke, some chicken fingers.
Bro, that's
taquitos.
just...
Like I listen. I love taquitos. We all lived on taquitos. And
Sure.
you throw them in the oven,
sure,
and you pop
that's
them out.
factual.
Yeah, they're great. I love taquitos. But bitch, I'll pay $9.99 for a box at Meyer.
Yeah, that's just expensive heartburn, bro.
Like holy,
dude, hey, us men in our 30s, we understand.
that is
JB, you understand too.
I completely understand. I'm not spending $10,000, especially on that. I will pay for the regular seats and go up to the concession stands and get my own food.
Yeah,
but
hell no.
That's it for what's trending with JB. Back to you guys.
Now I'm pissed off. Let's get the mailbag. Who paid man?
Got money to blow.
I just put it in Dogecoin, honestly. I wouldn't even know. I'd rather just dump it in to put it in Dogecoin at this point. Let's go to break. First, we got to hear about our friends from Lady Jane's.
Lady Jane's, of course, giving me my A+ haircuts from the A+ stylist. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tourney. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
I'll tell you how to spend $10,000. It's at Les Stanford because they'll actually take care of you. And it doesn't come with chicken fingers. It's actually a nice vehicle. What happens when you've grown a great business for over 50 years? Well, you expand and offer more products. This is exactly what Les Stanford has been doing by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. It's the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. It's on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today and find the brand you want at lesstanford.com. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. I'm shook, man. That's in Boston. And you mentioned it, Brandon. Pistons got deals going on.
Bro, they got deals, man. You can get that same type of stuff right now, like $40 a seat to the North End Club, and they give you a spread that's just a little bit better than what we saw there, man.
So
all
no
you can eat to.
So no taquitos and chicken. Yeah.
No.
No chicken fingers
you
and
can get
taquitos.
Chicken fingers if you want a Little Caesars pizza and the Caesar wings. Caesar wings are elite, bro. You can't even hate on those. But they at least give you like a little bit of salmon. They give you a little bit of carving station and everything. It's like, hey, let's rock, man.
See, that's it's basketball at the end of the day. I'm just watching ball.
That's the win.
Yeah.
That's the win for the Pistons right now.
Yes, it is.
Go there for the food.
Detroit Dabber 313 says Pistons sweet. You get a pack of Dunkaroos and a Capri Sun. I mean, that's. Hey, don't sleep on Dunkaroos though.
Yeah,
Dunkaroos are.
Yeah, those. Hey, the Dunkaroos got the job done.
For $10,000, I want some duck.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny as hell. Yeah, let's get to mailbag here. We'll get to these questions. That's funny. Eduardo. Oh, and I'll start with Noah because he asked the question here. Did the Rams have the best receiving core in the playoffs? After that, I'm not too worried. No, I would lean 49ers. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about receiving core, like tight end included. Yeah. Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, and count Christian McCaffrey as a receiver.
Yep.
Easily.
49ers, hands down.
I'm going with the 49ers, Noah. Eduardo, mailbag. Jeff, can you verify that you will not be going to Ford Field on Sunday, and how will you feel about the Lions-Packers NFC title game? One, I will not be going. I will be in the same spot I was last week. Yeah, I'm superstitious. I want to be in the same spot. I want to wear the same clothes, same everything. Maybe no blue hair, though. I won't have that. I don't know if that'll affect the game. But no blue hair. But yes, I'll be watching with my dad again, and you'll be chilling, right? You ain't going. No one's going to the game, right?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Not going to the game.
And then, how would you feel about a Lions-Packers NFC title game? I would, for the storyline purposes and because of the matchup, I'm all for it.
When you
get 2-1.
If you could be a 3 seed and never have to play a road playoff game in an entire playoff run until the Super Bowl, that's just such a paved road, especially with your last game being up against a very dangerous 7 seed. That would 100% be ideal.
Let's see here. Mailbag. Dante asks, Hips. We'll start with him. He's before. Doesn't it seem strange the Lions are only favored by 6 over the Bucs? Yeah, it is a little weird. It's a weird spread. I think part of that is because of what the Bucs just did to the Eagles. That obviously affects it, and it's hard to kind of measure it. But hey, for betting purposes, I like it.
Yeah,
because I think the Lions will win by a touchdown.
I think I would take the Lions on that one with the spread.
There you
100%.
Go. Let's see, Dante. Do you re-sign Josh Reynolds, unsung hero, on Sunday? Yes. I think Josh Reynolds is one of the more underrated players in this entire roster.
He would not command, I think, a lot of money.
No, he wouldn't.
And yeah,
Mr. Reliable.
That first quarter that he played, he was the best player on the field in that first quarter. Absolutely unbelievable.
Let's see here. Freddie Felt, mailbag. Everyone clowned the Booner path, but these playoffs are certainly lining up to do exactly what he predicted. Yeah, you know what? I'm on the Booner path. I am. And the reason why I clowned it, to be honest with you, Freddie, is because I didn't really know the definition. I didn't know what the Booner. He had like 8 different definitions, but we got one finally, and I'm with him. This year, with how it's lining up, yeah, it's favorable. New information, Sam.
Yeah.
What am I allowed to do?
I mean, my opinion. I'm on the Booner path for sure. It's just that I kind of wish I would have made it the Flannel path. If like winning playoff games and higher seeds losing is a path that I could co-op. No disrespect to Booner, congratulations, bro. You're having.
I'll take it.
You're having a hell of a couple weeks. I'll just say that.
Screw
Booner
the
is a
Cowboys.
rising star.
Yeah, that's my guy. By the way, check out our new show. We got Crunch Time with Jeff and Booner and Michael Gentry. We have Lucas Klotz popping up. So it's a podcast we're doing right now. So there's episodes actually live right now. So like Booner just shouted out, Crunch Time. All social media, official CT Pod. You can find that. Let's find one more question. David Witt. Mailbag, do you think the Lions' losses actually helped them to iron out their issues and battle test them? Yeah, I do. And they didn't lose. They haven't lost 2 straight all year, so that's significant. But I think maybe a loss to, the Packers. There's certain games where you look at and you're like, I think they did learn. Specifically the Packers game at Thanksgiving, which I attended. A lot of that was self-inflicted wounds. So, yeah. You, of course, learn from losses.
You learn from losses.
But some teams don't learn from losses, a.k.a. Philly.
Hey, that
just keep losing.
That is for damn sure. And as long as you lose the least amount of games possible, so that you can still get 2 home playoff games as your first 2, sure, you can definitely take some things away from losses that can help you clean some things up for the even bigger games, which is no bigger game than this weekend.
No doubt. Let's see. Booner says, mailbag, Jeff keeps grabbing the Lombardi trophy. Is he now officially a part of the Booner path? Does he believe a Super Bowl is coming? No. Okay. Here's the now this is where the definitions get mixed up. What are we talking about? Are we talking about winning a Super Bowl? Let me be real with you guys, okay? And this is how I'm going to end the show because it's great because I can just say it and get the fuck out of here so no one attacks me. This is why I think the Lions certainly will win this week. But let's just see how the Packers 49ers game plays out.
All right.
Because if the 49ers take care of business, I don't think the Lions are beating the 49ers. And I'll say it right now. So I think this run, because guys, it's not just about this year, it's about the next 5 years. The Lions are still an incomplete team. They're getting better and better and better. So there's plenty to be excited about. But to think a Super Bowl's coming this year, no, I don't. And maybe you can hate me for that. I just don't. Sorry.
Guess not a real Lions. I'm kidding.
I don't know. Hey,
Sounds scared, not stoked.
I'm just being realistic. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I don't.
I mean, I'll tell you what.
But if the Packers beat the 49ers, maybe we could talk about making one. Fuck yeah.
There's
I'm all for it.
There's definitely, I think, a team of destiny element when it comes to the Detroit Lions. So many things that hadn't gone their way for so many years, 30 plus, you can even count to 60 plus, are now all of a sudden falling in the favor of the Detroit Lions. I mean, think they gave up. How many times have they given up big games to big-time wide receivers, and they pretty much won every single one of those games? They just find a way, no matter what. And I'm not saying that I would predict them to beat San Francisco on the road, depending on how they look, and if that matchup even happens. But I'm not going to call that an automatic L. No chance.
Here's the thing this is why I knew this was coming. Daniel, that's such a loser's mentality. Well, okay, for giving my opinion. The 49ers have a stacked roster. I think the Lions can compete. I don't see it. I'm sorry. The Lions still have a lot of work to do, specifically at corner. That's a problem. It is. Bend don't break. Certainly you're going to break at some point. Guys, forcing the Rams to kick all those field goals, I'm telling you right now, the 49ers will score touchdowns.
Christian McCaffrey.
They're going to score touchdowns. So that's all it is. I don't think this year, but the next 5 years, hell yeah. Can they get a Super Bowl? I can see it.
Yep.
But if the Booner path, and this is where, again, we're bouncing back and forth with definitions. Is it this year? Because now I don't think they can win. Maybe I'm not on this year. But for the next 5 years, hell yeah, sign me up.
Sure.
I think the future's bright for the Lions, and they're going to be competing for years to come.
Oh yeah.
They're going to win a Super Bowl eventually.
I would agree with that. 100%.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Seriously, thank you. We appreciate your presence. Tomorrow we'll be back. Thursday we have John Macaroon. Friday it's going to be a packed week. Previewing Buccaneers, Lions, and just some of the matchup problems I think that are going to present to the Bucs from the Lions perspective. We'll talk all that in depth. Jeff Iafrady, Sam Flannel, Detroit Kool-Aid, aka Brandon Dent, and JB. We'll see you guys. Have a good one.